So the first thing I'm going to do is to create a React application. So let me type npx create React app, and my project name, let's call it my photo album. Right, it's going to take a while, and we'll wait for a while, and it's done. So quick check if the app is running locally. Change the directory to my project folder and run yarn start. All right, press enter. All right, so it's running. So next is to set up my development environment with a text editor, and I am using Visual Studio Code, and let's open this. This is the folder structure. App.js is the one where I would be mostly editing to make any changes on my front end. And now I will initialize a local app with Amplify init. So just type Amplify init. I will be accepting default values mostly here. So my photo album, it's fine. Visual Studio Code, that's fine. JavaScript, and framework is React. Source directory SRC is fine. Distributed directory build, and I'm going to leave everything default here. I'm also going to use my AWS default profile. That's where I have my credentials configured. So it's done. And it's an initializing project in the cloud. It'll take a while. Let's wait for a while. And it's done. So notice we have Amplify folder here, right? Here. So now we can start adding the backend component, starting with authentication. And the first need to install some packages. So add AWS Amplify and UI React on the command here, and it takes a while. Once it's done, I'm going to add authentication. All right, it's done. Clear the screen. Let me type clear. All right, now I'm going to type Amplify add auth to add authentication. We'll select the default configuration. Username, and I'll select no, I'm done. Okay. Next is to push this change. So the command is amplify push, and I'm just going to type amplify push --y as well. Again, it's going to take a while. As you see, it identified the new component, and it's happening, and it's done. So just to quickly see the Amplify console, this is my application, and if I see the backend environment, I have my backend and authentication is configured. And also notice we have AWS export.js now, where we have all the configuration and parameters. So I'm going to make some changes in the index.js to make use of AWS export. And next, I'm going to make some changes in the app.js and add our authentication component. So you'll see just with a few lines of code, we will get sign in, sign out page, and without any CSS. So just using Amplify Authenticator, Amplify sign out, and with Authenticator here. So now let's start the project locally just to check how my sign-in page looks. So yarn start, and give it a moment. You see how I get my sign-in page without writing any CSS code. So I'm going to create two accounts, user 1 and user 2, and just type in some password, some email address, and I'm just going to follow the process. And same way I'll be creating user 2 as well. Let's give it a while. Okay, so this is how the user sign out looks. So I have created another user, user 2 as well, and if I see my cognitive user pools, both the users are reflecting. All right, so now let's add the final component, storage. So type Amplify add storage, and I will choose, let's see, content, which is images, audio, video for my use case. It's photo album, and I'm going to choose photos here. That's a friendly name for my project, and I will leave this as the suggested name, but you can you can choose your unique name if you like. And I'm only going to allow authenticated users, and for my project I'm good with just create, update, and read permission. So those are the permission I would be choosing. All right. I don't want to add a Lambda trigger, but you can add it quite easily if you need to. All right, so now I'm happy with all the changes, and now we need to do an Amplify push. All right, so we can add this back in the cloud as well. So Amplify push --y. Again, it will take a while, and you see the changes. It has made storage component added. So it's going to take a while, and it's done. Let's check the backend now. So type Amplify console, and it'll take us to Amplify console straight. And the storage and view in S3, this is our bucket. And I also want to show maybe the course configuration. So click on course configuration. By default, it's allowing all the origin, but in the production environment, you will definitely change it. All right, so now I'll make some changes in app.js to make use of storage component, right? And I'm going to use a React UI component S3 album. So let me quickly show different React UI components. All right, let me open that. So you see S3 album, this is a UI React component. So with just a few lines of code, you can use these components with built-in nice user interface. And you see S3 image picker, S3 text. And we also have some JavaScript library. And let me show that to you. All right, so these are different storage components which you can use: file access level, upload files, download files. Right. So let's go back to my app.js. For now, I'm just going to use S3 album, you see I'm using it as personal and shared photo album, and I'm also using something called level is equal to private. So for each user, it will have the ability to store some private photos and some photos they can share. So now let's add the hosting before we can publish this. To Amplify hosting add. And I'm going to select hosting with Amplify console. In the production environment, I would have chosen CloudFront and S3. And again, I'm going to choose manual deployment. If it was production environment, I would have chosen continuous deployment with Git. All right, so now I'm fine with these changes. The final thing is to do Amplify Publish, and we will be able to use our application after that. So Amplify Publish. We'll wait for a while. All right, so we have hosting, authentication, storage. We want to do it, yes. So it's going to update all the resources, and it's done. So you see we have our front-end environment. It's deployed successfully. Back-end, I have authentication and file storage. I'm just going to click on this link, and I have my nice user interface. I'm going to log in as user 1 and just hit sign in. And right now I don't have any photos, so I'm going to upload some photo, some personal photo album, and maybe a few shared one. So see, nice and easy. We can see all the photos. Now I'll log in as user 2, and let's see how it looks. So user 2, type the password, sign in, and you see I cannot see the photos of user 1, the personal photos of user 1. So I'm going to upload some file as user 2 as well. And I have my photos and some shared album. So you see how easy it is for both the users to upload their personal file or shared file. Last thing, I want to show the S3 bucket and see how the folder and contents managed automatically, private and public folder, objects. So overall, you see how in a matter of few minutes, using S3 API with some development framework, we could build the application. Next, we are going to see the second pattern.